Well, thank you for tuning. All right, so I'll tell you what we're gonna do tonight. That's what we're gonna do tonight, okay? Tell you the story real quick. Sometimes you be you see the third eye band on today. You see the third eye on today. So what we going to do? We going to take it to we're gonna take it to the other dimension on y'all for y'all. So you got to stay in tune with conversation signs. What's the purpose? What is the Most High delivering to you, right? Um, and why? And these messages. One thing I always say is that when I talk to people, I'm not really talking to that person. I'm speaking to the Most High through that person, right? And it really offers, when you look at it that way, it offers a much better perspective. You don't really judge people so much for their views and what they're saying to you because you realize the Most High is communicating through the lens to you of that person, the lens of that person, right? So, with that being said, it's been like a week back to back to back, different people, different passages, different conversations about the connection with the Most High and what we're going to go over. And it's word sin, right? Sin and I'm going to add tithes to it because I'm going to show you how they're connected. We're going to go over this. I promise I'm not the antichrist, but we're going to review this and it'll all make sense to you in a moment. Stay tuned. We're going to get to that in a second. Okay. So I'm going to sip a little coffee real quick and give you about 10 seconds, 15 seconds of this little break, and then we'll get right to it. All right. Appreciate your attention on that from our sponsors of this program, soundclick.com, Pasha Paroh. All right. So let's get to this message real quick. Okay. So where I want to start, right? I want to ask you guys from the top, right? This is what I'm here for tonight. We're going to ask you guys, what is sin? Straight off the rip. What is sin? Put that in the comments below. Define what you got as sin. Let's see if anybody's out there. They throw a comment down there. I'll put it on the screen and we can make this a conversation instead of a monologue. I don't want to feel like I'm preaching to people. So, sin, right? If we look at what the seven deadly sins, right? Let's take a look at them real quick. Give me a moment here. Let me work some buttons. Hold on. Stay with me. 7 deadly sins. Here we go. Let's share this shit for the people. And everybody know I'm not biblical, I'm not religious, but I'm also not here to bash because you can't be true. In order to be true, you must consider the infinity, okay? You always hear me say that. That's why it's all true. And once we start telling somebody that they're wrong, we need to realize that we're focused on a variable, which is some of the equation, but the equation is normally has some sort of infinity or always infinite, right? We're not talking about those special equations that don't go to infinity, right? We're talking about the general equation. The linear shit goes to infinity, plus or minus. You got to consider the full infinity if you want to be true. Otherwise, we just got emotional attachments to some variables, which is some beliefs. All right. Gotta get some coffee so I can, you know what I mean? Let's get this energy up for you guys, because this message is, is going to change a lot of people's shit, because I see these questions, and what I see is I see a defect, and depending, some accounts in antiquity would say that the definition of sin is a genetic or mental defect or disorder, right? So when you're watching these defects like democracy coexisting in the United States, which is and in America, and the United States is in America, or overshadowing or overlapping or over jurisdiction layering, whatever. America is a republic, which is, why the mindsets are so different, right? So you got one mindset worshiping this idol, the United States, and you got another group of mindset that's worshiping or in alignment with the true American, right, mentality. So there's a conflict there. But let's get into this sin, and let's take a look at this. You guys probably seen this before. The 7 sins are vulgatory, vainglory, or pride. Now, you've seen me talk about this before, especially if you're on my Facebook page. If you're not on my Facebook page, get on the Facebook page, Pasha Paroh. Everything's Pasha Paroh. Throw Pasha Paroh in Google. Everything pops up on the Knowledge channel. Make it easy for you. One click. Okay? Subscribe, like, follow, send a friend request. Let's do this. All right? But you see me talking about there on those platforms and such, that pride is not the same as proud. And this is all intertwined, because I'm going to show you how the war to make you humble, right, which is not proud, has been going on for a lot longer than you may think. A lot longer than Kendrick Lamar, right, singing the song "Be Humble," brainwashing everybody into the campaign of humble, because the word proud means noble, excellent, and splendid. The word the word humble means not proud. So if humble was such a good thing, right, then that must mean that proud is something bad. Now, but when you look at the word proud is noble, excellent, and splendid. So basically, the long story short is the weaponization factor came because it made the spell magic, the word magic of everybody focusing on and praying for humbleness, right, causes them to outcast and demonize everything that was proud in the communities, ours, noble, excellent, and splendid. And then we all wake up one day magically talking about why there's nothing left in our community to be proud of, right? And that puts us in a lesser position. Now we're humble. Now we're not proud of anything that we have around us. And then we go out for an outreach program to go and get someone outside of ourselves to invest into us things that now we feel proud of from them. And that is the control measure that then makes you easily to take over in your weakened state of humbleness. So what we need to do for sustainable communities in the future from a transformative leader is we need to actually focus on what would make us proud. And then we need to go and get that shit in our communities, build it up, invest in that, have our own things to be proud of. And I'm not talking about just make the best of what you got. I'm not talking about make the best of the hot dog sandwich, the fried bologna. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about ride the beater because, why would you spend $100,000 on a car? I'm talking about be proud of having what you want. Determine what the community wants. If everybody in your community should be riding Bentleys, then damn it, put the plan together to make sure that everyone in your community, man, woman, and child, has a Bentley in the garage. All right? That's what we need to do. It doesn't matter what you want, right? As long as you're not harming somebody, that's the law, right? Do what thou will, as long as you're not tort claiming somebody else or someone else doesn't have a tort claim against you. And if you don't know what tort means, T-O-R-T, it's injury, which injury means to injure physically and or wrong. All right, because we got the Black's Law Dictionary sitting right here. If you don't got one of them, get one, because you need one to operate in commerce. Give me a moment for some coffee. Okay, because when I tell people this, they always want to tell me something wrong with me. They want to gaslight you, right? You're familiar with this because a lot of you YNS7 people that have been following and working with me for a while, you guys go through the same shit when you talk to people, and you know what I'm talking about. So they try to gaslight us, right? They want to tell us something's wrong with them because it makes them feel better, because we couldn't possibly have read something that they didn't read and comprehend something that they didn't comprehend, right? We couldn't have done that, right? We couldn't have spent years studying this stuff while they took what somebody else told them and ran with it. Okay, so let's get into this. Let's look at this. We got pride, we got greed, we got lust, we got envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth. Right. All right. So that's the 7 deadly sins. And yeah, you can go into some other sources that give you 45 of them. The more the merrier, right? The more sins they can put in front of you, the more ways you feel bad about yourself, the more humble you become, the weaker you are, and the easier you are to control. That's the ticket. Let's get everybody as weak as possible so we can overthrow them. Thou shalt not kill while we come in and slaughter your whole village. You've heard that before, haven't you? All right, let's get into this. Let me see where I want to go next. You know me, I got some notes because I want to make sure that I get everything for you guys. Now, we need to define what sin is, because the reason I say that is because if we as a community, as a people, as a nation, get over the bullshit that I'm going to show you, right? And I know that's tough to swallow for some of you guys. And if it's tough to swallow for you guys and you're closed-minded, then this is where you need to sign off. But YNet 7 community, we're very open-minded. We take in new information, we consider it, we think about it, we talk to our people, we share, like, subscribe, and we build. So what we're going to do today is we're going to build on this topic, okay? We're going to build on the fact that they have weaponized this control measure against you. We're going to show this right here, right now. So in mainstream Christianity, sin is generally regarded as disobedience to God's, capital G-O-D. Now that's important. Capital G-O-D, God's commandments. All right. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and look at why that's important right now. Let's do it right now. Let's look at why it's important. Why is it important that it's capital G-O-D of all things? Let me get this up here. Let me do this. Give me some moments here. Let me click some mouse buttons. Oh, here. No wonder. All right, here we go. Bam, there it is. Okay. So now I put this on the screen here for you. And here we have it. Hey, this is a show that I was watching a couple days ago. It caught my eye, caught my attention because it was asking the question, what does God, capital G-O-D, say about running a business? And that was with Simone Henry, and a couple other people, excuse I don't know their names. I'm linked with Simone Henry on LinkedIn. Go ahead and check her out. Watch this video and you'll probably see my comments in it. But this was part of I was sitting here, one of the messages that I was getting, I was like, well, what's the anyway, you'll see. I'm gonna mention some things like abundance, because when they were talking about, I was doing my research and while they were talking, I'm like, but abundance means this, and this means that. So, what we're really talking about is this, and I'm gonna tie it all into this whole conversation. Like I said, that kind of came to me to give you guys this message, was a series of events that the Most High invested in me through others over about 7-10 days. So I'm giving you the full download right now, right here on YNet 7. All right. So, but here's what I want to get at. Let's get at this. We're gonna come back to that. That's tied. And okay, God, this is where we want to get to right here. See, when you go into the etymology, right? Gad, right, was originally little G-O-D, little G-O-D, little G-O-D, right? And this is where you hear the accounts of us calling each other, we were the gods, right? We were gods. Not what you think capital G-O-D is, but little G-O-D. Why did we call ourselves gods? Because gods was supreme being, right? Supreme being. It didn't say superhuman. It didn't say supernatural, right? It says supreme being, right? All these motherfuckers out here right now walking around with trying to spend $10,000 on a supreme sticker. It's not even a bag. I don't know what the fuck they make. But anyway, supreme, right? But as soon as you call yourself a supreme being, oh, something's wrong with that, right? But you buying $10,000 bags and watches and whatever that say Supreme on it. You're putting Supreme stickers on your car. You're doing all this shit about Supreme. But then as soon as someone calls you Supreme, that's blasphemy. What? This is what I'm saying. United States insanity, consumer insanity, bullshit. All right. So if you're investing in a Supreme brand, you should know where it comes from. Little G-O-D, supreme being. All right. You a being, right? So if you put supreme in front of that, boom. All right. Now, the interesting thing here is that when you look at this, the word God, little God, right, was here, it say the Germanic word for God were originally, or words for God were originally neuter, but after the Germanic tribes adopted Christianity, capital God became a masculine syntax form. See, and understand why they capitalized it, you have to go and look at Roman capitalization law, right, or rules, because then that tells you that basically once you capitalize it, it's basically able to be used for profit, monetization. So what they did is they took the word God, little God, and they monetized it. And what you're witnessing is a success of what I'm looking at as one of the greatest fucking. You thought the beers did some work on the people when they got everybody buying diamond rings. This is the greatest marketing scheme, marketing strategy ever. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, right? I mean that with the most respect, because what they did is they capitalized the word God, they made it a brand, and then they had a marketing strategy that basically shamed your ass. Not you, YNet7. I know we're all here. We're conscious. We're not. We are thinkers, and we accept the infinity of truth. But for the people around us that keep attacking us with this book and this term, God, you know, when people, you say something to them, they're like, you can't make them a suggestion because they tell you that they're following God's will. And it's like, well, if you were really connected with God, right? If you were really part of the omnipresence, then your will would be God's will. So what do you mean it's not your will, it's God's will? Why, if you come to me and tell me there's a separation of your actions and what God wants for you in life, then you need to stay away from me, because that means something wrong with you. That means you ain't right. I mean, you ain't connected to source. I mean, I'm only telling you what you telling me in a way that you didn't say it, because not you personally, maybe, but what that means to me is that you not true. And what we want here at Y97, we just want to be surrounded with the truth. All right. We just want the truth. We want true people. We want true goals. We want true actions. We just want to be fucking true. And all this bullshit coming to hide the hypocritical shit and this, that, and the other. And now, oh, I can't do this because God, I'm waiting on God's will to try and shame me into why I asked you a question or told you something. No. What you're doing is you're telling me about your personal insanity issues and you're projecting shit on me. But I understand psychology, so I don't shame you. I don't punish you. I don't fault you. I try to give you a little words here and there. We try to give them some words here and there, let them know, and they either accept it or repel it. And then we know where we go after that, right? You know what I'm saying? So now that we have that on the table, we got sin. We got the sins listed. Oh, we gonna have fun. We gonna have fun, y'all. And we done covered what the word God really mean. That they done capitalized it, which made it a brand. And then the brand strategy is so good, right, that they done took their brand and shamed you into having any other version of God than theirs. The whole world is under shame right now, because if you don't adhere to their version, their brand, it's like Nike telling you ain't shit. But I mean, that's the brand strategy, right? You're not shit unless you use Nike. You won't win a game unless you use Nike. Right? McDonald's, you ain't loving it unless you eat this poison, right? Like that's the major marketing strategy, bro. Like and sisters, and you know, family in general. So what happens is, you gotta look at it like marketing. Now, once we look at it as marketing, now we can start to free ourselves, because you know I'm all about reducing the codependency on big corporations and large government, so we can empower the people, right, to create sustainable communities. Now, yeah, we can talk brand strategies, we can talk starting a business, we can talk all this other shit that you see on my channel, but this is why we gotta cover the emotional intelligence and the mental health aspects, so that we can separate from what has been weaponized against us and oppressed our minds, so that we can now be free to build what we really want, instead of adorning, right, the humbleness that we're given, and complaining that we want more but not taking action about it, which is insanity. Okay, so let's look at this. So pride, right? Pride or vainglory. Okay. Because what I'm looking at is everything that they have listed here as the 7 sins, and probably the rest of the 45 that they list. The reason I want you to define it is because I want to ask you guys what sin hasn't the church. Now, I'm not talking about your church. I'm talking about nationally, globally, historically, hasn't not only done, but supported the act of doing when it was convenient for them. Because if that is true, which I'm about to show you today, right now, share this with the people you know need to hear. I know you got some of the people that every time you do something, say something, they try to throw the Bible book at you and cast you down, tell you worshiping Satan and because you talking about tarot cards or whatever it is for you. I know you got them out there. They need to hear this. Share it with them. Give it to them. Tell them the Most High sent it to them. Right? So here we go. Everything that they call a sin, the church done when it was convenient for you. Again, so if it's convenient for them when it's convenient, then why are you shaming yourself to the point of, being humble, come to the Lord on bowed knee out of shame when you do it? Oh, why? Because it's a brand strategy. That's why. It doesn't have anything else but to make you weak so that you can be conquered. But here we go. Let's get into it. And I got examples. We gotta go to Wikipedia. Okay. I'm not making this shit up. Let's go. So pride, right? Because it causes pain. You're in pain. Oh my God. I don't feel like I'm connected with God. I gotta do more work to get connected with God, right? You was born connected with God. Whatever, if you call him God, you was born connected. God is I'm not trying to be insultful. Here's the mathematics of it. God, the Most High, Alhamdulillah, Yahweh, the universe, the creator, the source, whatever you call him, is omnipresent. Now, let's look at the mathematics. Like I said, I'm a man of equations, not the variables. The variables get you fucked up. Now, if the Most High is omnipresent, that means the Most High is infinity, right? Which is why you hear me say, to be true, you have to consider infinity. So if the Most High is omnipresent, that means the Most High is with you right now, in you, through you, around you, outside of you. You breathing in the Most High right now. You were born connected with the Most High. Now the question is, who taught you that you were separate from source? Who taught you were separated from source? I need you put that in the comments below. Don't be shamed. Each one of you represent at least 60,000 people, just like you. Was it your grandma? Was it your grandpa? Was it school? Was it your pastor before he passed around the offering plate? Or she passed around the offering plate? All right. Think about that for a moment. Give me 15 seconds. We're going to be right back. Pasha Paroh. All right. Let's go. So, who taught you that you weren't connected to source? That's the question. because then they the ones that instilled the defect in you. They the ones, that's your original sin. Your original sin was feeling like you weren't God's children. Now look, people laugh at me when I be like, who you call Jesus was my brother. It's my brother. They be like, no, not you. And yeah, you might see the resemblance with those that know what Jesus probably, because we don't really know shit, right? But probably really look like, he probably looked like me. You see the paintings that look like me. All them chicks out there, I ain't gonna say all of them like I got 1,000 bodies, but all them chicks out there, you might have been fucking Jesus. Tearing it up. And you didn't even know it, right? But look, here we go. Let's get to it. Seriously. So, who told you that you were separated from source? That's your original sin. They put the defect in you that led you to looking for everything outside of yourself when the Most High is already in you because of the omnipresence factor. Now, let's get into this, all right? Let's get into this. Pride, right? So, they say you're not supposed to be prideful. Now, remember, I said proud is not pride. All right, so we get that. Now, let's look at pride. Let's look at what the church was doing over thousands of years with pride, okay? Let me see here. Which one is it? Give me a second here. Okay, it's this one. I got some tabs open here for you guys, right? Oh, which one is East? East. This one. All right, cool. Bam. Here we go. Man, this is so much fun. I appreciate y'all spending time with me and getting these lessons. Grassroots. This is how we're gonna change the world. One talk at a time, one building at a time. So here we go. Now, what was going on with the pride in the church, right? So historical example, right? It was the Great Schism of approximately year 1054. Excuse me. Marked the split between the Western Roman Catholic and the Eastern Orthodox Christian churches. So the pride and disagreements among the leaders on both sides contributed to the schism, right? I'm just gonna say it like I'm gonna say schism. I'm not even gonna say it. I'm gonna say schism. All right. So let's look at this. So here's the expanded breakdown. So also the East-West Schism, right? Also known as the Great Schism or Schism of 1054, is the ongoing break of communion between the Roman Catholic and the Eastern Orthodox churches since 1054. It is estimated that immediately following the beginning of the schism, a slim majority of Christians worldwide were Eastern Christians. Most of the rest of them were Western Christians. So if you thought the Biggie Tupac was the first East-West side beef, told you ain't nothing new under the sun. You got them on there talking about West Side Christian, East Side Christian, West Side. Come on, who were the artists that we need to make that song right now? Make the beef. Come on, East Side Christian, West Side Christian, and they were beefing, right? So here we go. Okay, anyway, let's get back to it. All right, so a series of ecclesiastical differences and theological disputes between the Greek East and Latin West preceded the formal split that occurred in 1054. Why? Because they were both prideful and was like, fuck you. We're going to do our own shit. And they Kevin Hart voice. Prominent among these were the procession of the Holy Spirit, whether leavened or unleavened bread should be used, right? I guess they had a union that was arguing at the time about who should get the sale. The Pope's claim to universal jurisdiction and the place of see of Constantinople, right? And some other shit. So here you go. This one of the, when everybody want to say, oh, where do you get that from? And then they go Wikipedia on you. Here's Wikipedia, right? I'm giving it to you. Okay. So pride. They were beefing about pride. They still are. I think they're still split, right? All right, what's next? Greed. Okay, so greed. What's greed? So let me see here what I got for you for greed. Hold on. So historical example was the sale of indulgences. Now, how many people knew about this? How many people knew about the sale of indulgences? right? Hold on, I'm going to pull it up for you. So the short story is that the sale of indulgences by the Catholic Church in the late medieval period is often cited. This practice was criticized for exploiting people's fears and desires for personal gain, contributing to the Protestant Reformation. Quite interesting because let's look at it. In the teach, an indulgence, it says, is a way to reduce the amount of punishment one has to undergo for sins. Now, if we run to, who can you run to, right? The Black's Law Dictionary, and say, that sounds familiar when you start talking about reducing the amount of punishment. It sounds like you in court. I don't know. I think most of us here, we don't been to court. Some of us don't won our court cases. You know what I'm saying? So big shout out to those people who win in their court cases, because we're gonna win this one against sin today. All right. So look, right. A charge, per the Black's Law Dictionary, in the verb form, is to impose a burden. To impose a burden. That's a charge. Okay? Now, like I said, some of us, we done caught some charges. All right? We was imposed some burdens. Some of us is still burdened by the shit. It kind of sounds like a sin. Right? Now, an indulgence is a way to reduce the amount of punishment one has to undergo for their sins. You know, like your drug diversion program. Your all your little things. Probation before judgment. Right? All that shit, right? So it's a way to reduce the amount of punishment one has to undergo for sins. Describes, so the you know, categism, right? Whatever that is. I don't pretend I can say everything. Y'all know I got the scar from the Bell's palsy. Don't laugh with me, not at me, okay? We sound on the catecism of the Catholic Church, right? Describes an indulgence as a remission before God of the temporal punishment due to sins whose guilt has already been forgiven. Probation before judgment. I mean, which the faithful Christian who is duly disposed gains under certain prescribed. Oh, now you got a medical degree prescribing shit. You know what I mean? Under certain prescribed conditions through the action of the church as the minister of redemption dispenses, what, a pharmacy? Dispenses and applies with authority. Now we know authority here. We know what that means. We know that means the book or the quote that satisfy the question. The authority, so dispenses and applies with authority the treasury of satisfactions of Christ. The treasury of the satisfactions of Christ and all of the saints. So let's go that through. I won't interrupt this time. The CHism of the Catholic Church describes an indulgence as a remission before God of the temporal punishment due to sins whose guilt has already been forgiven, which the faithful Christian who has duly disposed gains under certain prescribed conditions through the action of the church, which, as the minister of redemption, dispenses and applies with authority the treasury of the satisfactions of Christ and all of the saints. The recipient of an indulgence must perform an action to receive it. Because, you know, faith without works, right? This is most often the saying once or many times of a specified prayer, but may also include a pilgrimage, the visiting of a particular place, like community service, or the performance of civic good works and a payment, right? Okay, so you see where I'm at with this? You see where we're at with this? You see where they were at with this? What do you say? It's all right when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. Fuck them. All right, let's get to what's next. Lust. Y'all think the church ain't lusting? Right? Right? You think you're conscious, but you know what? You get a little of that Patron and pineapple, the right amount. Is it love or lust? You know what I mean? I don't know. Y'all still mixing the Henny with the hypnotic, making the Credible Hulk? Is it love or lust? Man, I need to make that song. All right, so here we go. Who need to make that song? Love or lust? Hit me up. We'll make the beat. All right, let's go. So, lust. Right now, historically speaking, I'm gonna pull up, this Borgia family, and we're gonna talk about Pope Alexander the Sixth, right? Let me see here. Hold on. Let me get it. There we go. Truth is so much fun. Excuse me. All right, let me get this on the screen for you. Here we go. So Pope Alexander the Sixth, right? What's the short story? The short story is the Borgia or Bagaya, however, Borgia, right? Family, the BGs. Nah, no disrespect. The Borgia family, particularly Pope Alexander the Sixth, was infamous for its involvement in various scandals, including nepotism and allegations of sexual misconduct. These actions contributed to the perception of corruption within the church. And let's see what Wikipedia says. Let's see what Wiki says, right? See, we did the Eastern Schism. We did indulgence. We can get rid of that. All right, cool. Consolidating my tabs here. You know how that be. All right. So it's got some stuff here where it tell you about him, a little bit, and da 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 da. But here's where it gets to. Alexander is one of the most controversial of the Renaissance popes, partly because he acknowledged fathering several children by his mistresses. As a result, his Italianized Venetian surname, Borgia, became a byword for libertinism and nepotism, which are traditionally considered as characterizing his pontificate. They disrespectfully respected him so much they named the shit after him. I mean, think about that for a moment. You a bad motherfucker where they disrespectful. They're so disrespected by it, they give you respect for it. I mean, we ain't talking about you popping your ops. We talking about you popping the chicks all over the blocks, and you supposed to be the Pope. But bro code, right? Chicks was with it, right? Is it any different from today? Oh, but the preacher got a wife, preacher coming over praying with, sorry, Miss Jackson, right? All right. Let me see here. What's next? Let's get to what's next. Thumbs up if you feeling this shit, right? So what's next is envy. All right, let me get the envy up for you. I told you I got you. I got you. Give me a moment here. Cause now when I like doing this shit, because then when you come in contact with people and they put you on this, you can just send them this link, in a text message. You ain't even gotta stand there and listen to them gaslight you, fucking talk your head off, try to get you to be shameful, want you to look up a scripture. You ain't gotta do none of that. I mean, do it because you never know what you might learn. There might be a message there for you. But after that, send them this link and tell them when they got time, you would like for them, to receive this. Okay. So let's see here. Papal States rivalry between rivalry. Here we go. More beef. All right. What was it? The medieval cuisine, Renaissance. Yeah, here we go. This one. Bum. Renaissance. All right. And we take, we taking all the emotion. We here White and Seven. We don't have conversations where it's your opinion, that's your opinion, that's your truth. We don't deal with that. We above your truth, my truth. That's that variabilistic petty shit. We are the truth. We're gonna bring you the truth because the truth is infinite. Now we either gonna be of equations or you're focused on variables, which are emotional attachments to beliefs. So you're not saying this is my opinion. We're bringing you their true history. And all we're asking you is who taught you were doing something wrong? Who got you feeling shamed about who you are? Who put you in a weakened state? Who's conquered you? Who's taught you to hate me and people like me and you, Whitenet 7, who stand on our shit because we don't bow down to false idols. We not United States citizen mindset. We not commercialized. We natural persons over here. We Americans. And shout out to my foreign nationals around the world, because we got them all over the world tuning in. So I appreciate y'all being the national that y'all are, wherever you're from. All right, let's get to this. So what's the short story? The short story, where are we at? Envy is the rivalry between Papal States and the various Italian city-states during the Renaissance often led to political intrigue and envy as each sought to expand its influence and power. Remember, West Side, East Side Christians, right? So they were having a Christian gang war in Europe. It was the crosses versus the robes. All right. So you can read this. It give you some of the history. So the Renaissance prophecy, period between the Western Schism, right, and the Reformation. Now they don't got the third party because now two wasn't enough. They had to have the Reformation, right? That was another group, right? But here we go. It got so bad. Okay, so the Papal States began to resemble a modern nation state. During this period, the papacy took an increasingly active role in European wars and diplomacy. Popes were more frequently called upon to arbitrate disputes between competing colonial powers than to resolve complicated theological disputes. So basically, they became civil court. When you go to court, if you don't come in there with the complete dismissal, you got court costs, you got court fees. It got so bad that to the extent that this period is relevant to modern Catholic dogma, it is in the area of papal supremacy. None of these popes have been canonized as a saint or even regarded as blessed or venerable. Now, these popes were so wicked they didn't even give them their sainthood, right? Right? You see where I'm at with it? You see where they were at with it? You see where we at now? All right, let's get it. Because we get into the build up here. We about to hit the climax in a little bit. So next is gluttony, right? So let me get rid of this one. Bloop. All right, and let me get the gluttony for you. Now this is where it gets fucked up. I mean, if you thought the rest of the shit was fucked up, I was reading this and I was like, this is fucked up, right? And I know a lot of people, they enjoy, what's the fucked up part. All right. So, here we go. Now, what's the short story? The short story is excesses within the clergy, such as lavish banquets and luxurious lifestyles, were criticized during various periods of history, including the Renaissance. These excesses were seen as contrary to the ascetic ideals of Christianity. All right. So, I mean, honestly, is that any different than right now when you look at the people talking about Congress? Remember, they were basically the church was basically Congress. It was court. It was the president. It was, the church was the government. So, with that being said, is it any different today? All right, well, take a look at this, right? So, this is where we're going to get to, but before we get down here to the church, let's look at this. The medieval cuisine includes foods, eating habits, and cooking methods of various European cultures during the Middle Ages, which lasted from the 5th to the 15th century, so 1,000 years. They ran a ban on them. During this period, diets and cooking changed less than they did in the early modern period that followed, when those changes helped lay the foundations for modern European cuisines, right? So cereals remained the most important statement during the early Middle Ages, as rice was introduced to Europe, with the potato first used in the 16th century, barley, oats, rye, wheat, right? Bread, porridge, gruel, pasta, cheese, fruits, vegetables, okay? You get it, right? Now let's go down here. So you see, they were fucked up during that period. Things weren't, there was no middle class. All right. Now let's look at the church. So the Catholic and Orthodox churches and their calendars had great influence on eating habits. Consumption of meat was forbidden for a full third of the year for most Christians. And this is going to lead us into tithes. So brace for impact. All animal products, including eggs and dairy products, during the strictest fasting periods, also fish, were generally prohibited during Lent and fast. Additionally, it was customary for all citizens to fast before taking the Eucharist. You tell me. So these fasts were occasionally for a full day and required total abstinence. Both the Eastern and Western churches ordained that fast that feast should alternate with fast. In most of Europe, Fridays were fast days, and fasting was observed on various other days and periods, including Lent and Advent. So meat and animal products such as milk, cheese, butter, and eggs were not allowed, and at times fish also. The fast was intended to mortify the body and invigorate the soul. Now we know today that there's this period of time where, once you start fasting, that your body starts to detoxify itself for a couple days, and then after that it literally starts to eat its own muscle mass, right? Like a few days later. But for the first few days, it's kind of good for you, right? But here's my question, because the word mortify, and I'm not even gonna go to the etymology dictionary. I'm just gonna go to the regular. You type in mortified meaning on Google, and you'll see that it says cause to feel embarrassed, ashamed, humiliate. Definition number one. But definition number two is to subdue the body or its needs and desires by self-denial or discipline. Now, it didn't say, your desires is a question of why are you desiring it? You know what I mean? Like, don't jump to the conclusion that desires are sins. Because you desire water when you're thirsty, or, for those that don't drink water, you desire something to drink when you're thirsty. That is not a luxury desire at the time. You are desiring that. Your body is craving that because it needs and desires. Let's look at that word again, mortify. Cause someone to feel embarrassed, ashamed, or humiliated. To subdue the body or its needs and desires by self-denial or discipline. So we're not even gonna starve you to death. We're gonna create the mental condition where you starve yourself. But why are you saying that, Pasha? Become great, get into tithes, right? Because when you look at the matter of fact, let's just go there. All right, hold on, let me see. Did I cover all I want to cover here? No, let's. Yeah, that's good for now. You get the picture. The fast was intended to mortify the body. It's like that French chick that was queen that, off of her head or whatever, because she said, let them eat cake. The fast was intended to mortify the body, to cause to feel embarrassed, ashamed, or humiliated, to subdue the body or its needs and desires by self-denial. We ain't take it from you. You took it from yourselves. All right, let's get to this, right? Yeah, let me show you this real quick. Let me show you why this is important with tithes. Let's do that. Hold on. Miss anything in the chat? All right, cool. Bump. All right, let me get to the window. On the window to the wall. That's what the Pope was in there singing. To the sweat drip down my bump. You know what I mean? He's had all this. They tell you, no, that music is ungodly. Thou shalt not listen to Power 99 FM. All right. Okay, and here we go. So where's tithes? This way. To the left. All right, so tithe. All right, here we go. So tithe is the tax of 1/10 of a yearly produce paid to support the church. Now, let me tell you something here. The book says, some great book out there that's out there programming everybody for 10,000 years says our people perish due to lack of knowledge. Our people are mortified due to lack of knowledge. Okay? That's why we got the third eye on today, because we had to bring it to you straight from the decalcified pineal gland. All right? the tax of 1/10 of a yearly produce paid to support the church. Now, see, today you go into churches and they pass a plate around. And you pull out, if you pay your tithes, right? You know they try to shame you for that, right? Did you pay your tithes today? Brother. Or they seen that note. I done seen this before. They seen a little note, email, letter in the mail. We did an audit. What you, the IRS now? We did an audit and we showed that you haven't been paying your tithes, Johnson family, for the last 6 weeks. We're gonna need you to catch up with that. What are you gonna impose a penalty? But anyway, here we go. Tithe, the tax of 1/10 of yearly produce, so paid to support the church. Now the thing is, in 1338 and before, when they said produce, you don't produce money. Like, there ain't been no money in circulation since the 30s. If we come to fast forward to today, but you're not at the mint, right? Printing paper. You're not printing $100 bills. So you didn't produce the $100 bill. That's not your produce. See, so if you were really tithing correctly, this is where you go back in time and say, oh, well, there's a farmer, he had a cornfield, he brought in 1/10 of his yearly production. Now, right there in the Renaissance period, tell me, why is the church taking 1/10 of everybody's produce from their farms and their fields, their livestock, and then telling them they can't eat meat, they can't eat 4 out of 7 days of the week? You don't need rice, but give us 10% of everything you would have had to eat. We won't let you see that we're greedy when we have these banquets and feasts, but it's to support the church, and you ain't getting no invite to dinner. So that's back then, right? They gonna starve you. Meanwhile, they taking all your shit, putting it in the silo, stocking up for the cold winters and the rainy days when ain't no shit to eat. And then they telling you, well, fast, motherfucker. Damn, the people hungry. Tell them we gotta think of something. They hungry as shit. Like, what we gonna do? We taking, they had the food. It was a famine, and the crops failed. And what are we gonna do? We want our 10%. Oh, well, tell them to fast. Tell them it's holy. Make them humble. And get the cart around there. They ain't had a plate back then. They brought the cart. Get the cart around that motherfucker. Get the cart. Get the corn. Get the cart. Put it in a silo. All right. So that's the fucked up part. You start, encourage the people to starve themselves, but give us all the food. We're gonna put it up. We're gonna eat. We're gonna celebrate. We're gonna party. Right. That's why the motherfucker, was knocking up on them chicks. He had a whole silo full of food. Hey, you want something to eat? You want an indulgence? You gotta pay the price. Faith without works. Right? I'll give you this corn. I mean, all you can do is laugh at it when you see the truth. Okay? Now, come forward to today. You not at the mint printing $100 bills, so you didn't produce the $100 bill. Now, if you really were paying tithes, if you were tax collecting, you would be in there doing taxes for the church, or offering taxes to the church people and give a 10% discount and let the church say amen. Right? If you a lawyer, you be in there producing legal services for your church. Nah, but they telling you get a greenback, you made $1,000 an hour. We need $100 every hour you work this week. Mm-hmm. I'm a lawyer. Don't you need some legal? Nah, fuck that, motherfucker. We got a lawyer. We're gonna pay our lawyer, but we need you to pay for it. Give it, right? If you you get the picture, right? If you a cook, you be in there cooking. If you a dentist, do some dentistry work, 10% off, charge it to the church. No, but the church need the profit. Oh, it's a non-profit, but they asking for profit, right? See, if you were paying your church tithes correctly, per what a tithe is, you would be given 1/10 of your produce. So you know what? I normally do, as an attorney, Pastor, Your Honor, in the court of say amen, probation officer for my indulgences. I normally do $350,000 a year worth of attorney services. I will block out what would be the equivalent of $35,000 worth of service time and donate to the church. That's your tithes. But they tell you they don't want your tithe, they don't want your service, they want the $35,000 pre-tax. Y'all fucked up in the head. Don't know no better. Feeling guilty because you ain't give them a check. They extorting y'all. And then you blame Pasha. They blame us, YNet 7, for letting them know that they insane. Because we don't want to be insane. We like, look, we want to be, we don't do titles. You know, we ain't really about the title life. You know what I mean? I'm Pasha, you. I don't really need the friends and all that shit. I don't really understand that because what does it mean really to say you're my friend? Like, you're either going to be here tomorrow or you're not. Let's just skip all the fucking fake ass formalities and just, you know, see you tomorrow if I see you tomorrow, right? Rock with me if you rock with me. Don't if you don't. But we going to stay true. Now, you got other ones like, as far as going back to the sins, you got wrath. I mean, we ain't got to pull nothing up on Wikipedia. You got the most obvious one, the Christian Crusades. The short story is they were marked by intense religious fervor and anger towards perceived enemies of Christianity. That's just a nice way to say they went to motherfucking war. The Crusaders sought to reclaim Jerusalem and the Holy Land, quote unquote, from Muslim control, resulting in violence and conflict, which you see in today still going on with the proxy state of Israel having proxy wars, right? And then you got sloth, which is of the major 7 that they give, and you know, a historical example of that is the instances of neglect or apathy within the clergy, where priests were less focused on their pastoral duties and have been documented in various historical periods. Now, why is all this important, Pasha? This is all important because once you realize that God, as they think they know it, has been capitalized, it's been branded like a brand name, and it's now a business with a marketing strategy designed to make you feel like ashamed unless you have this brand like any other product with a great marketing strategy. It makes you buy into the product because you can't live without the product, supposedly. You can't be happy without the product. You ain't shit without the product. And it creates an addiction just like every other crackhead, right? Well, I guess they ain't on crack no more. What is it, fentanyl? You know what I mean? Until you die. Unless you read that part of the book that says our people perish due to lack of knowledge. And you get the knowledge, you have the wisdom, and now you overstand the weapons formed against you so they shall not prosper. Because the book said that no weapon formed against me shall prosper. But see, People always run around saying, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Well, guess what? If you don't realize it's a weapon, that motherfucker prospering like hell, right? Because if you don't know it's a sword and you go to brush your teeth with it, your ass getting cut. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. You putting the toothpaste on a katana and you in that motherfucker like, you gonna slice something up, something getting sliced up. You didn't realize it was a weapon, your ass getting cut. Okay? So in order for no weapon to formed against you shall not prosper, you gotta know that it's a weapon formed against you. Okay? Don't go to sleep on a bed of pins and needles expecting not to get poked. Everybody didn't go to monk school. Okay? Everybody don't know that levitation technique of while they sleep, meditation. All right, so if you ain't go to monk school, don't go jumping on the pins and needles bed thinking you ain't gonna get poked. You gonna become the reverse of a porcupine. You gonna be impressed. I know it's Virgo humor. You know what I mean? It's Virgo humor. Just work with me, okay? So, what else I got for you? I got a couple other little things for you. Then we're gonna get up out of here. Let's take 10. No, let's not even do that. Y'all been rocking with me. I appreciate y'all support. Something new I'm working in. Tell me how you like it, and we're gonna go from here. Now, what I want to go to next? Let's go to this. Let's go to Malachi 3:10. I know. I told them. They said, Pasha, we want to see you get closer to God. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I'm omnipresent with God. No. He wants you to get closer. What the fuck does that mean? I can't get any closer. Matter of fact, let me show you how close I am. Okay? So, Malachi 3:10. I said, y'all don't want me to start opening the Bible because y'all gonna think I'm the antichrist. It's gonna destroy a lot of people's beliefs. They already don't like when I tell them I'm American. You want me to start telling them what sin is or is not because you're trying to impose that shit on me? You want to make me shameful? Let me tell you what the authority really is. Let me present my case. After I studied all of you guys, for 10 years, let me tell you what my observations were and the insanity factors y'all run around here talking about. And all I did was ask you to be truthful. Pasha, you the wackest dude ever, man. You up here talking. No, I'm the truest motherfucker. And I just asked you to join me in truth. All right, so let's take a look at Malachi 3:10. We'll break this down, and then we're going to look at James 4:6 through 10, and we'll get up out of here shortly. May the church say, Amun Ra. A little insider for those who know. If you know, you know. All right. Let's get this. Let me get this on the screen for you guys. Here we go. Bump. So, now, if you go back to the show I showed you, go check that out with Simone Henry on LinkedIn. One of the things they brought up was Malachi 3:10, because that one was it was, what did God say about running a business? And I was like, yeah, because I've been telling them, I was like, I'm interested in that. I'm gonna watch this, not because I was religious or biblical or anything, but because I wanted to see what they were gonna say. Because the title said, what does God say about running a business? And my stance has always been that business, the etymology of it is the state of being busy, which actually deprives us on our ability to live life, be creative, and or be spiritually or religiously, if that's your thing, invested in ourselves. So I always saw business and the act of business as a sin itself. So I was really like, okay, I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna see what we're gonna get. And although they didn't talk about, but you know how church people get, right? When they start talking, they some church people, They talk about 10,000 things except for, and I'm not saying in a bad way. I'm saying go check them out. Go support the church. People is probably gonna enjoy it. I got the message that the Most High is giving me, in between they shit. Because the Most High was talking to me through them, but they never really covered what guys say about business. So I had to pull it out, right? I put it in my comments, so you can read my comments on their channel, on their thing. But anyway, so which one you want to pick here? I don't know. Anyway, it said bring the whole tithe into the storehouse. Get the cart, motherfucker. Get the cart. Get the plate. If you guys seen back in the day, I think it was "Don't be a menace while drinking your juice in the hood." And the motherfucker get the plate around there, right? So anyway, bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. He ain't say shit about your house, right? Test me in this, says the Lord Almighty, and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessings that there will not be room enough to store it. So whatever version that they were using, and some other quote, it was another scripture they used that was talking about abundance, right? So what I did was I took the word pours. It struck me. The Most High said, "Hey, look at that word pour." That's why I gave you the etymology dictionary. So while they were talking, I keep my books close, So I was looking at the word pour, and it's it said it was this and that, and it came from originally the word which meant purify, right? It meant purify. Okay, so pour, P-O-U-R, the etymology, it comes from a word of purified. Okay. So when you look at abundance, it's not the cup. Abundance in the etymology dictionary didn't mean the cup runneth over, like we think of when we think abundance. It meant wholeness or fullness. Okay, because again, when you're omnipresent, you don't run over. You're not overflowing. You all existing. You everywhere. You to the limit of everything. You just all there. But there is no overflow because you are infinity. How can you overflow infinity? Right? So abundance is fullness or wholeness, and the word pour, P-O-U-R, actually is a derivative of purify. So you need to purify your wholeness, your fullness, your entire self, your entire existence. And if you are, or they are worshiping a brand name, if they're worshiping Nike, if they're obsessed with Nike, you would say something's wrong with them. They have a disorder, a mental defect, right? They're possessed by some thing that's controlling them, some desire, some urge, some addiction, right? When it's drug abuse, you call it addiction. You say they have a desire, because desire forms every addiction when you get in psychology. So see, your desire, because who told you you weren't connected with God? Who told you that God doesn't walk with you and, in you, pause, all at the same time, around you? It's omnipresent. But the gaslighting created the toxicity in yourself, shamed you into your addiction to a brand name, a particular brand name of God that you now worship. You think you're giving 10% of your produce, but you're really giving 10% of your income. your revenue is not produced. So you all tricked up because pimping ain't easy. May the church say, I'm on rock. Right? But then you want to blame us for knowing this shit. You want to call us witches, warlocks, demons. Because we have our own brand of God. As we are the little gods, we are the supreme beings connected to source. Because the Christians tell you they don't judge, thou shalt not judge, while they judging the fuck out of you. It's insanity. All right, let's look at James 4:6-10. Give me a moment to get it on the screen. I mean, because this is mental health, people. This is why I'm doing it for you. I'm not bad mouthing Christianity. I'm giving you mental health. I'm giving you emotional intelligence and mental health awareness. Because they've been gaslighting the fuck out of us, and I need you to feel like you are okay. I need you to know that you're okay. All right? I need you to know that you're okay. I need you to chin up. I need you to get this right now, because what we grade go through, the battle we grade go through, we ain't gonna have time for that. So I need you mentally strong now. Okay? We grade go through it. Let's get James 4:6-10. I don't know. I guess if you following through with your Bible, this might be interesting, man. I need to do this more often. Nah, the Pope gonna be over here with, he gonna send his little assassination squad, and y'all wonder why I'm running around with a. See, y'all got little ops. I ain't gonna discount y'all ops, but y'all got ops that's mad at you about you cutting line at the grocery store. You know, now they want to shoot you. Y'all got shit going on in y'all lives, right? But I'm trying to change the world. We got a different situation, right? So we grade, and it's not about, we don't need to, it starts with wisdom, opening your mind. Okay, when you go to my Facebook page and you see the social credit score system taking effect, and they ain't sharing my shit, don't tell me about the algorithm, because I don't tell you about the algorithm. I go to your Facebook page because your shit don't show up on my feed either, because they don't want us to connect and build, because they know I'm critical thinker, you're critical thinker, I'm a doer, you're a doer. We can't let these motherfuckers get together. They gonna do something, and then everybody be popping off, and everybody be believing in themselves, and we can't have that. We can't have we believe. So what they do is they create a situation where you think you are we believe, but you're not. You think you are, but you're not. And then they attack us for being what they want to be, but don't know how. And the fucked up part is they attack us for telling them how to be. We tell them how to be what they want to be, but don't know how to be, and that makes us their enemy. How dumb is that, U.S. citizens? All right, let's look at this James 4:6-10. Church say I'm on raw. I mean, I'm having a little fun with it. You know what I mean? This is therapy. It's traumatic because we've been going through this. We've been going through a lot of suffering, dealing with y'all bullshit for decades. Y'all up here telling us how righteous y'all are, how fucked up we are. Fuck you. You program, you brainwashed, and you can't read. So somebody told you what to think, and you mad at me because me and YNet7, we comprehend. Don't hate us. We can show you the book. We can show you what the words mean. Oh, but we not up there in the pulpit with a tie on and a little suit talking about hallelujah. So you can't understand us because you emotional. Oh, it ain't my fault. Right? That's what we're gonna say. We're gonna keep it moving. We're gonna keep it pushing. But what's gonna happen is your little leader, your little transactional leader, eventually they're gonna try to put y'all against us, just like the Christian crusades. But see, it ain't gonna go that way this time. Okay, it's gonna be different this time. So James 4:6-10. He gives, and different versions. I was putting together a lot of shit while I was doing other shit, so this is just the one I grabbed. I know there's actually, when they said it was a different version, but I just went with this one. All right, it'll still prove the point. So it said, but he gives the greater grace. Therefore, it says, God is opposed to the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Excuse me. Now, this right here, we went over earlier what proud and humble is. I've done videos on the YNet 7 channel. Check it out, about proud and humble, showing you the difference. We done looked over the words. We showed the etymology. The long story short is humble is not proud. And if proud was such a bad thing, right? I mean, the humble being not proud would make sense if proud was such a bad thing. But when you look at proud is noble, excellent, and splendid. It's a great thing. So, what did it say the church did in the Renaissance with the food? It made you starve yourself, right? So if God is opposed to proud, how can, now remember this is okay, let me do this. The question is this: capital God, the brand name God, the entity, the business corporation, God, said they are opposed to the proud. Why? Because they can't fuck your head up if you proud. If you know you're noble, if you know you're excellent, if you know you splendid, then you not buying that shit. I ain't never owned a pair of Jordans. That's American mindset. What the fuck Jordan do? Y'all just now, many people just now waking up saying, oh, did you know the NBA, NFL is rigged? We've been telling y'all that for 20 years. Y'all thought it was just wrestling. It's entertainment. It's teaching you to be divided. Y'all going to work mad at each other, talking about black and yellow, right? Pittsburgh Steelers versus Eagles. Fuck y'all. Y'all attacking each other. Y'all fighting in the parking lot. Y'all instilling division in your mind. You'll never unify against any common enemy. Y'all practicing division every day. They got it so far down to the science. They tell you when you do the research that the city determines if the team is going to win or lose based on how they need the city to be the following week. You want them to be more productive, make sure they win. You want them to do this, make sure they lose. You put it like this, they have writers like a soap opera. Stupid U.S. citizens. And I say that because we tell you this shit, but you attack us for trying to free you from imprisonment. I understand how Harriet Tubman felt. And it ain't got nothing to do with skin color because it's all U.S. citizen mindset. And shout out to the people who think they're U.S. citizens, but they operate with the American mindset. You just need to come on over here and start rocking with the title. Be transformative. Let's get real. But hold on, let's get back to this, right? So if proud is noble, excellent, and splendid, and your God is supposed to want all these wonderful things for you, how could God be opposed to proud, but give grace to the humble, which is not proud? Remember, we talked about what your community looks like when it's humble for real, and all the proud shit has left, been eroded. You kicked them out. You told them you didn't want them in the family no more because they were proud. You thought, oh, you trying to appear smart. We don't want you around. You talk too much. Why are you talking about that? We trying to watch a movie. You talking about being we're not this, we're not drivers. We need to change the world. We want to watch Medea. Shut the fuck up about some Medea. That's why you're humble. That's why there's nothing left. You kicked all the proud, noble, excellent shit out of the community, and now it's a barren wasteland. All the proud shit over in China. You trying to beg your, President Biden to bring back industry. No, you didn't want the proud shit. You didn't want the American proud. You didn't want the American made in America stamped on. They don't even put up made in America no more because you don't even believe this is America. You don't even know you're American. It now say made in the United States. Because you humble now. So I got to ask you a question. Because, I ain't going to make it a comparison between your God and my God. I know the difference. I know it's omnipresent. I ain't even going to entertain that bullshit. But if your God, your brand of God, if your Nike swoosh of God, if your Air Jordan God, Jesus, is opposed to proud, isn't that more like, isn't humble really satanic? Like when y'all think about going to hell, if you think proud, I mean, this is y'all words. If proud is noble, excellent, splendid living conditions, quality of life, education, knowledge, transportation, whatever, you name it, right? Got green beans, potato, blue, right? If proud is noble, excellent, and splendid, then humble kind of sounds satanic. And kind of like the opposite of proud, right? Proud almost sounds heavenly. So if your God is opposed to heavenly shit, what the fuck? But here's the catch. Because see, you got to read. When you look at contracts, you got to know what you're looking at. Okay? So here's the catch. Let's read this passage. We're going to wrap this up, and then I appreciate your time. But watch this. So, but he gives a greater grace. Therefore, it says, God is opposed to the proud, but, and keep in mind, the capital G-O-D. I'm going to tell you why in 45 seconds. This is so paramount because the truth is always hidden in plain sight. But he gives a greater grace. Therefore, it says, God is opposed to the proud, but gives grace to the humble. So we just covered that. Submit, therefore, to God, capital G-O-D. We need you to register. We need you to bow down when we come to your town. West side, right? But look, submit, therefore, to God. Like when you go to every other corporation online, every other little business, and they give you that little form, and then it says click submit. Yeah, we need you to submit, right? We need to bow down. We need you to become humble. We need you to be not proud so that we can give you our grace. So that we can conquer you, basically. Okay, so watch this. Resist the devil and he will flee from you. So if you resist the devil, which is the capital G-O-D, God, the brand of God, then he'll flee from you. Just like the Christians do when y'all talk to me for too long. Just like the Jehovah's Witness when they knock on the door and you start talking your shit. And they be like, you know what? Don't you want to come in and talk? That's what you said to the other 94 people around the corner. You wanted to come in and have a conversation. Why are you running from me? I want to talk to you. Jehovah's Witnesses. Okay? So resist the devil and he will flee from you. They mad at us because we still standing there like talking our shit. Why are you still talking? Why are you talking? We keep talking about this shit. Well, you said this, you said that, you had a question about me doing this, and I don't think you quite get it yet. So I'm still, I'm going to encourage you a little more of what the truth is of the matter. Oh, you don't want the truth? Then flee from the truth. So when we come to y'all pages, YNet 7, and we see it as a barren wasteland, we know you the motherfucking truth, because all the motherfucking devils that fled your pages. They don't want to be seen liking your shit. They don't want to be seen commenting on your shit, because then they gonna be compromised by association. They can't support the truth because they not the truth. So we're gonna rock this out, all right? Now, draw near to God, right? And he will draw near to you. It's just like when you go into Foot Locker. You draw near, you went inside, that motherfucker came right up to you. Hey, How may I help you? Is there anything I can get for you? You want to see something? What do you want me to get out? You know what you're looking for? We got that. Right? Just like every other business. Draw near to God, capital G-O-D, monetized branded version in stores now. And he will draw near to you. Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts. You double-minded. They telling you right there, right? Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your heart. Now, what does purify mean? Pour. So pour out your heart. You're double-minded. So pour out your heart. We need you to get rid of who you are so we can tell you who we want you to be. You double-minded. This is such good programming. Damn, this is computer code at its finest. All right. Be miserable and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned into mourning and your joy to gloom. This is fucking telling you we're going to take all your motherfucking joy from you, all your motherfucking happiness, pour it all out on the floor, put it in that tithing bag, get the cart around there, motherfucker, get the plate around there. And we're going to pick it all up and put it in our stylo. And once you have nothing left, you'll be ready to be conquered by us and accept our Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, because you don't have shit now to be proud of. You done gave away all of your dignity, all of your morals, all of your self-respect, and now you sit here wanting to for justification and validation from some external source to tell you you are who you already was born to be. And we're gonna tax the hell out of you and charge the fuck out of you the whole time. And now you out here like zombies fucking attacking the real people for being real because you don't know you the fake shit. You the knockoff. Now here's where it gets so plain, right? So let's reread this and then I'm gonna save the last line for you here. But he gives a greater grace. Therefore, it says, God is opposed to the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Submit, therefore, to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. Be miserable and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned into mourning and your joy to gloom. If that isn't the most eloquently formed witchcraft I've ever seen. But then it closes its statement with, humble yourselves in the presence of the Lord and he will exalt you. Now, what I want you to pay close attention to is the wording of this passage. See, this is where you get into conflicts with people like, did you know I'm not a driver, I'm a traveler? And they be like, what you mean? You got a driver's license, you a driver? No, I'm a traveler. I don't care what you say. I'm not being employed to conduct shit. I'm traveling. Okay. Well, that ain't what you right? But why are there two different words when you look into it, right? So here's what it is. Look at this. They've been using God, capital G-O-D, this whole time. But then when they get to the last line where it actually tells the truth, I mean, it's all telling the truth. But then when it gives you your master key, right? Because remember, they can't, and for entertainment purposes, you need to have remedy presented when giving contracts, right? A good one anyway. So it says, humble yourselves. Now remember, humble is not proud. And then it says, in the presence of the Lord. Now, why was all the other references to capital G-O-D, God, the brand name, the God, your Nike swoosh, your Jordan, your Mercedes Benz, whatever false idol you worshiping, the commercialized version of G-O-D, why was everything else in this passage God, capital G-O-D, the corporation? And then they say, but if you humble yourselves in the presence of the Lord, he shall exalt you. And then the other version said, ye shall be lifted up, right? So when you get into the etymology, right, it was another word in the other example, but it meant to put yourself in a lesser state, right? And it said he shall lift you up. So think about it. Think about humble mean to come and bow down. Like, oh man, I'm bowing down to you. I'm so much, unworthy of being in your presence and instead of like, yo, That's motherfucking God. Yo, that's what's up, man. What's up, God, bro? I see you, man. We doing our thing, man. Look, man, I am so proud to see you right now. I'm so happy for you. But right? It's a proud motherfucking moment. If you met God, the Most High, or, little G-O-D, the Lord, whatever you want to say for you, but not the capital G-O-D, the brand name. But if you really sat here and met God face to face, the Most High, that's got to be one of the, if not the most, it's got to be one of the most noble, excellent, and splendid experiences in your fucking life. So you can't tell me that ain't some shit to be proud of. I don't give a fuck who you are. That's a proud motherfucking moment. Y'all out here talking about y'all, hey, like, Pasha, why ain't you smiling your pictures with Vivica Fox, Rick, all of this, Gilly Kid, and Will Smith, Jada Pinkett? Why ain't you smiling any of those pictures? Well, because that's what I do. I'm supposed to be there. There are people just like me and you, and I was supposed to be there. We doing our thing. That's what we do. All right? Put me in a picture with God, I'm gonna be smiling, be lit the fuck up. Right? Okay? That's a proud moment. So, the wordplay was, let's go back over this and then we'll close out. All this other shit basically told you how God, the brand, was going to destroy you and tear you apart. You're going to pour out your hearts, right? They're going to brainwash you. You're double-minded. You're sinning just from being affiliated with them, and you don't know it. They're going to make you be miserable. They need you to mourn and weep. They want you to turn your laughter into mourning and your joy into gloom. That's their purpose. That's their mission statement. That's their vision story. That's their why. For all you business-minded people, start with why, right? That's their why. We're going to fuck your life up just so that you can depend on us. Get right with God. You know what I mean? Like, that's like the fucking marketing strategy of all marketing strategies. Right? The mafia, what? Oh, you're going to need some protection. We don't need no protection. We good around here. And then they burn down your store and come back next week. Hey, you're ready to pay for protection. Right? So they're telling you right there, they're the mafia of, 1336. And they going to fuck your life up. And then you going to, they're going to just fuck your life up. You're going to be fucked afterwards. You just don't know it yet. Right? But then it closes with this. If you humble yourselves in the presence of the real Lord, not God, but Lord, then he will lift you up. Because if you put yourself in a lesser state, God gonna be like, hold on, wait a minute, motherfucker. Now, Jesus, my son. So they say. But you God's child too. So I like the story I like to share with that is, you've probably heard this before. This is not my original, I didn't make this up. But it says, if a cat has a baby, what is it? Oh, it's a kitten, but it's a baby cat, right? The dog have a baby, what is it? Oh, puppy. But it's a what? A baby dog, right? Etc. You pick the animal for the next one. Put it in the comments, what animal would you pick, right? But anyway, if you God's child, that makes you a baby God. Period. Now, when someone talk you off of your shit, that's why they calling you sinners. That's where you get the mental disorder, the genetic defects, where you disconnected from God because someone talks you out of your game. In sports, they be like, no, man, I can't let them talk me out my game. You let them talk you out your shit, out your game, out of who you are. And I'm not saying, someone say, hey, music people pay $2,000, have this meeting with this agent or AR executive, and we're gonna do it, and you get down there and you find out that shit ain't authentic, right? Because what you got to find out during that experience was, hey, look, the ceiling's falling apart, the people ain't this, and it doesn't look like it's really ran tight, so I'd rather have paid, business people might have been like, I'd rather have paid $2,000 to find out I don't want to do business with them long term than to be like these artists stuck in these contracts where they get raped and robbed for 25 years and then murder contract, right? Because the industry they sign with is starving and they got to eat you instead of support you. So that's an investment in what you're doing as a business. So, but when they trick you out of who you are completely, that's a totally different that's manipulation. That's gaslighting. Paying $2,000 or $1,000, or when they who paid the baby Cash Money dude. I remember reading up on him back in the day. They was paying, business people was paying him 10 grand to meet with him to talk, for business coaching. So imagine that you pay him 10 grand, you talk to him for a few hours, and is it worth the 10 grand? Some people would say no, some people would say yes. Look at the dinner with Jay-Z or 500K and the jokes and the memes right now about, I would take the 500K. I would take the 500K too. Right? So, but when they talk you out of who you are and they tell you that you're not God's little God, and they give you this brand name and say you can't live without this brand and a marketing strategy, and you fall for it, well, I guess that's why you're a United States citizen too. Because this is America. I'm Pasha Paroh. Thank you for tuning.